Know your Lord. We learn about his names and his attributes. Know your Lord. What he approves and disapproves. Know your Lord. Believe in all things that he has brought forth. Know his oneness, Lord.
Know Your Lord, part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, right here on Sunnahfollowers. Being taught by Ustada Layla Nashiba as she lays down the foundations to get you together. Learn about your Lord. Know your Lord. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers. Assalamu alaikum. Get to know your Lord. First part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. This dynamic literary work of art's main goal is to revive an understanding the names and attributes of Allah. And understanding the name and attributes of Allah will elevate our faith, strengthen us, and keep us steadfast. This wonderful book is now available in an audiobook format and can be found free of charge on YouTube, channel Kareem Abu Zaid. Get to know your Lord. You have nothing to lose.
Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody here to our Aqidah class. This is our class entitled Know Your Lord. This is based on the book written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. And for those of you who have not yet purchased this book, please get a copy of this book. Go to Amazon.com. And also, I like to share with everybody something that's very pleasing to me. You know, I have a lot of the kids who are watching this show. This book, Know Your Lord, is now available in a children's version. There's a children's version, and let me show it to you guys. And I really, really hope that you guys would go and purchase this, so that way that the kids can get to know their Lord too. They can get to know their Lord just like you and I. And the difference being that, mashallah, it's if you look at the book on Amazon, it's the same as the adult version, but it's written the same chapters, but they're written, you know, they're smaller chapters, written in plainer English, is simplified for the kids. So please, guys, head over to Amazon and buy this version too, knowing Allah and sharing Islam. This is the children's version. And that way the children can participate in this class. They can understand my PowerPoint and read along in their book because it's simplified for them. Everything that I'm teaching about what it means to believe in Allah and how to worship Him, it's right there in that book, the book version for them. And also another book that Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid has come out with is called Juz Amma, Explanation of the Quran for the Children, grades kindergarten through third grade. Get that book because I will be teaching this in the Sunnahfollowers Kids program. It's going to explain the verses of the Quran. So both books, I'm going to be honest, both of these books will be the two new books that I will teach in the Sunnahfollowers Kids program. And I'm going to try, guys, to see if I can get a couple of other people to help me with the kids program teaching. So that way, on the days that I fall asleep and I can't wake up, I'll have a backup substitute. And we're going to be using these two books. And I'll make sure I have the PowerPoint and all that stuff ready. So if I'm not here, whoever I pick to be my substitute will be able to substitute for me. But please go to Amazon.com and get both of these books so the kids can also have their read along with us. They can have their read along version of what I'm teaching as well. So that's something new. And with that said, let's get to our class tonight. And again, please put me on the big screen TV for the children. This is Know Your Lord. And tonight we're going to be discussing faith. We're going to be continuing. We're going to continue the topic of faith. Faith in Islam. We started it yesterday. Yesterday, we spoke about the meaning of faith. What does faith refer to? Yesterday, we spoke about Islam and how faith and Islam correlate to each other. Well, today we're going to continue with that. And let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen for everyone, inshallah. See if I can share it. Okay. Okay. And hold on, guys. I have to click it on the beginning. Let me get this out of there. Okay, inshallah, you guys can see. So tonight, what we're going to do for this class, we're going to talk about the definition of faith. What does it mean to have faith? But before we do, and by the way, we're covering pages 39 through 41 of the book. Pages 39 through 41 of the book. Okay? And you see that's the children's book there too. But before we get to it, let's see if you guys can pick this up from yesterday. If you guys understand what I was teaching yesterday. First of all, who can tell me what is the meaning of Islam? And I would really like to hear from the new Shahadas. What is the meaning, or the new practicing Muslims? We got some people here, guys, who are not new Shahadas, but they're new practitioners. That's what I call them. They were born Muslim, but they didn't practice the religion. They're just now awakening the fitra of their heart. And by the way, I got to fix this hijab. I don't want none of my hair to show. So hold on, let me. I forgot my hair is hanging down, so I don't want any of it to come out. So let me put this pen to the side like that. All right, there, that's better. I ain't got to worry about that. Good. Okay, I have a lot of people who are not converts. They were born Muslim, but they're new to practicing the religion. And I would like some of them to try to answer the questions too. What is the meaning of Islam? What does Islam mean? What does Islam mean? The people on Facebook, people on YouTube, people on Telegram. I'd like to welcome the people here. By the way, we're streaming live on YouTube. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're streaming live on Instagram, on X, which is Twitter. We're streaming live on LinkedIn. We're streaming live on Rumble. I got a lot of people here, Rumble. Assalamu alaikum, Rumble users. And by the way, this is the Twitch people here. Where's my Rumble? Oh, I don't have a thing for the Rumble. But the Rumble, if you guys type on the screen, I can see your typing. And also Twitch and Telegram. So, anybody in the Zoom room, what is the meaning of the word Islam? What is the meaning of the word Islam? Y'all know this is pathetic. How long are we going to sit here before somebody have the nerve or
it means total submission.
Wait a minute, I don't want it to be Yasmin. Yasmin is one of my best students. She can teach this class. I want to hear from the rest of y'all in that Zoom room.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna say the same thing to Salela.
I was gonna say the same. I was gonna say it. Complete submission to Allah.
Yeah, Yasmin, don't answer none of the questions, because all they're gonna do is imitate you. Okay, but exactly, that's what it means. Good job, all the rest of you, and Omar here, and Sabrine, Lucy, mashallah, Lucy's here.
I already know this answer.
Okay, yeah. Alhamdulillah. Exactly. Islam means total submission to Allah, to totally submit. Good job. As Lucy said, Islam means to submit yourself totally to Allah. As Sister Sakina said, complete submission to Allah. And it's important that we understand the meaning of these Arabic terms, because if we analyze the meaning of these Arabic words, then we'll understand better what Allah expects from us. Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam for the person that just joined on YouTube. May Allah bless you. My son have suspected carcinoma. Please pray. May Allah make it easy. Sister, may Allah make it easy for you and your son. Ameen, ameen. And may whatever sickness your son has, may it be a source of purification of his sins. Ameen, ameen. So, Islam means total submission to Allah. And it's important to understand that. So now, that brings us to the next question. What does it mean to have faith in something? What does faith mean? In other words, what's the meaning of faith? And I do not want Yasmin to answer none of these questions because she knows them all. Let me hear from the rest of y'all. What does faith mean? Anyone? Yeah, I'll give you guys time on YouTube too. Yeah, I want to hear. The YouTube people always answer, but it's the lag. So yeah, you guys, I'll wait for you guys to type. So what does faith mean? When we say as Muslims, we have faith, what are we saying? What is faith? What is faith? What does it mean to have faith? We have to understand faith. The Arabic word for faith is iman. What does it mean to have iman? What does that mean? We have to understand the meaning of this stuff. Yes. What does it mean to have iman? Brother Tarek is on. Oh, mashallah. Wa alaikum salam. Brother Tarek is on YouTube. What does it mean to have iman? Okay, let's see what Lucy wrote. Lucy said, oh, that's Fatima. Fatima said faith is belief. Faith is belief. Okay. Lucy wrote, faith is to believe in Allah, even if you don't see him, even if you don't, though you can't touch him. Good job. Geechee said faith is to have hope, trust, and belief in our Lord. Good job. MashaAllah. See, that's what I got to do. Wait for the lag to go through. And I get all these good answers from YouTube, since the people in Zoom are half dead, you know. But alhamdulillah, mashallah, good job. Exactly. Faith means to believe, to have belief in something, to have belief in something. I have faith in you. I believe in you. I have faith that this treatment will work. I believe that this treatment will work. I have faith that this will happen. I believe that this will happen. So faith in our case, iman. When we talk about iman, good job. Good job, Sakina. When we talk about iman, we're talking about believing in Allah. We're talking about having faith in Allah. Believing everything that Allah has told us to believe. That includes his angels. That includes his prophets. That includes the unknown, the unseen. That includes judgment day. That includes his decree. We believe everything that Allah has commanded us to believe. That's faith. Now, why is it important to understand the meaning and the difference between Islam and Iman? That's the next question. Which one comes first? Which of the following comes first? Faith or Islam? That's why it's important to know the meaning.
Yeah.
Okay, Mina said Islam. Does anybody disagree? Which comes first, faith or Islam? If you guys understand the meaning of Islam and Iman, if you understand the meaning of Islam and faith, which one comes first? Y'all agree with their answer? They said Islam comes first.
Islam.
Okay, who is that? That person said Islam too?
Geechee.
Geechee said Islam too.
You have to have Islam first to build the faith within the certainty within you to practice. So yeah, Islam.
Okay, all of your answers are wrong. Exactly. As Tarek said, this is wrong. Faith comes first, guys. How can you submit to something unless you believe in it? Exactly as Sakina wrote. You have to have faith, Geechee. If you don't have belief, how are you going to submit? Islam means total submission. How am I going to submit to everything Allah says if I don't believe in what Allah says? Good job, Brother Tarek. Faith is first. And that's the problem. That's what we talked about in that hadith, where the prophet said, don't go around saying that this person's a believer. Because if that person was a believer, he would submit. The believer, what's the difference between a believer and a Muslim? A Muslim and a believer, what's the number one difference? Number one difference is a believer will never, ever, ever deliberately, intentionally disobey Allah, where a mere Muslim will. Because a Muslim is just a person that has submitted. I submitted. I say I've submitted, but have I really? Do my actions show that? I declared La ilaha illallah, but do I really believe La ilaha illallah? Y'all see, so faith comes first. You have to not just submit, but you have to believe in what and who you are submitting to. If you don't believe in what or who you are submitting to, you are not going to submit. You're going to pick and choose. That's why a lot of Muslims are deliberately committing sins. They're choosing to smoke cigarettes. They're choosing to smoke marijuana. They're choosing to not wear hijab. They're choosing to not pray because their faith has not yet been implanted in their heart. They use the words. They said La ilaha illallah, which brings them into our way of life. But they haven't submitted. Because if they submitted, it would show through their actions. Y'all understand that? Faith is in the heart. Faith is in the heart. And it shows through your actions. Faith is in the heart. Submission to Allah shows through your actions and your choices. Y'all understand, Mina? Geechee, everybody understand I got it wrong? Does that make sense, Amina?
Understood.
Yeah, I got it mixed up because I was thinking more of when people enter into Islam.
Y'all were thinking of the testimony.
Okay.
Yeah. Y'all were thinking of the testimony of faith. And that's what we're going to talk about today. This is a good introduction, this quiz, because that's what we're going to talk about today. The words. The testimony of faith brings you into Islam, but does that make you a true believer? No. Look at that idiot that's all in the news named Andrew Tate. The testimony of faith brought him into Islam a year ago. What has he done since he's been Muslim? Has he shown any actions of submission to Allah? Has his actions since he's been Muslim proven that he has submitted to Allah? No. He's doing all kind of crazy stuff, including going to the churches and calling upon Jesus and making a mockery of us. Okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And by the way, guys, remind me to change the battery in my mouse, because I tell you, it keeps closing. Both of them need, look at this one. Both of my mice need to be changed. I keep forgetting. And I don't only remember it when I'm in class and I can't move the screen. Like now. Amen. So, the value of faith, which is iman, the Arabic word iman, the value of faith and its significance as a benchmark for your spiritual growth and your spiritual health is apparent from what the companions said. Remember, guys, to better understand this religion, to better understand what's expected of you, what's expected of me, we have to know the understanding that the companions had, not the understanding of the four imams. What was the understanding of the companions about faith? Well, listen to this. The statements of the companion reflect their vigilance. It also shows how careful they were of their faith. They would learn the religion and they would increase their belief in Allah by remembering Allah in the company of other good Muslims. That's why it's so important. I tell you, new shahadas, make sure that you surround yourself with good practicing Muslims. You don't want to hang around with women who don't wear hijab. One of the sisters here, the new shahadas, told me, she said, Sister Layla, they have a group at my mosque, a women's group, where the women meet once a month, you know, to talk about Islam and stuff like that. She said, I went to the meeting, but I was shocked that most of the women don't even wear hijab. Most of the women did not wear hijab. I told her, that's not a meeting you should attend. You are a new shahada. You're trying to develop your iman. You know, those women will weaken you. They will tell you that you don't have to cover up and all of that. They're weak in their faith. You have to be in the good company of believing Muslims who practice this deen. That's how the companions were. They would meet together and sit with each other, and they would learn Islam together. They would remember Allah together so that their faith can grow. Okay? In fact, Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, and Ibn Masud, they used to invite the other companions to come sit and remember Allah with them. In fact, listen to what one of the companions said. He used to say, come, let us sit for a while so we can dedicate some time to increase our belief in Allah. They would share stories, hadiths of what the Prophet said to them. They would sit together and talk about the things that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught them. How many of us do that? So as Muslims, to keep our faith strong, because we're going to talk about how faith goes up and down, your faith will never remain strong. Certain things in life can cause it to lower too. So we have to take care of our faith. We have to understand that it's in our heart, but it will show through the limbs. Like I was telling you new shahadas yesterday, I don't want you guys to hang around with those Muslims that say they don't practice the deen. They don't pray. They don't wear a beard. They smoke cigarettes. And you say, brother, what you mean you want to marry me? How can you marry me when you don't even have a beard? How can you marry me when you smoke cigarettes? And they look at you and say, it's in my heart. My iman is in my heart. Allah knows what's in my heart. You can't judge me. Oh, yes, I can judge you, because Allah also says if it was in your heart, it's going to show through your behavior, your actions. If you really were in submittance to Allah, if you were submitting to his laws, what are you doing with that cigarette? If you were in submission to Allah's commands, where's your beard? Okay, so faith, we have to understand, we have to keep company like the companions did with people who were strong in their practice. Okay, and that's what this chapter, we're doing pages 39 through 42 today. These pages, this chapter of the book, Kareem Abu Zayd focuses on faith, the type of iman that those original companions had. And it all begins with what Sister Mina and what Geechee was saying. It all begins for us with the testimony of faith, the declaration of La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. When we testify, when we make that statement, we are affirming to something. We are testifying to something that can, it may not, but it can lead to concrete belief. Y'all understand the difference? To say, I believe that only Allah is Allah is the only one worthy of worship. That's a statement. That statement can lead to submission. But does it? That's the question. A lot of times it doesn't. It's just words. So the mark of having firmness in heart, the mark of having belief in heart is to comply with that statement. To not just say that you believe Allah is the only one worthy of worship, but to comply to it, to engage in actions that prove it. If Allah is the only one worthy of worship, then why are you worshiping that cigarette? Why is it that you won't stop smoking weed? Why are you drinking? Are those cigarettes your God? That addiction to that cigarette, that addiction to that alcohol, that love for sex. You've made sex, you've made drugs your God. Y'all see it? You said that only Allah is worthy of worship. But are you worshiping him, obeying him? Or have you made those intoxicants your God? Because if you truly believe in Allah, you will fulfill the commands of Allah. And you would abide by the pillars of Islam. And by the way, sisters wearing a hijab, that too is an obligation of Allah. You say you believe in Allah, then why is it that you're not obeying his commands and covering your body when you leave the house? So we must protect this testimony of faith. We have to protect it from doubts and suspicions. And the way that we protect that statement of La ilaha illallah is through having strong intentions when we do our actions. Everything we do in this world should be done for the sake of pleasing Allah. Why am I sitting on this internet every day, despite all the challenges that I'm dealing with in my personal life? Yesterday was one of the most trying times of my life because I was dealing with a lot of personal drama. But I still taught my classes. In between the drama, the classes were kind of, long and prolonged, but I taught those classes. Why am I keeping my commitment to Allah? Is because my intentions are sincere. I'm doing all of this for Allah. It's all about Allah. I'm showing Allah that my personal life, the personal drama in my life don't come before him. I'm showing him that I still submit to you. Despite the obstacles in my life, I am still complying to your laws, to your commands. So strong intentions, the intentions of the actions we do, they help to protect our statement of La ilaha illallah, that there's only one deity worthy of worship, and that is Allah. I'm keeping that protected by handling the trials of life and still honoring my commitment to Allah. It's all for you, Allah. Okay? So that's what the prophet meant when he said, whatever's in the heart is going to show through your actions. What it's going to show not only from what you say with your tongue, but what you do with your body. Okay? If you believe that Allah is the only one worthy of worship, you're going to break down and do those prayers every day. You're going to do those 5 prayers every day. You're going to say no to alcohol, say no to drugs. You're not going to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. You're going to learn. What did the prophet say? One of the signs of a believer. A lot of you ask me, Sister Layla, how do I know if I'm a true believer? One of the signs of a believer is he doesn't keep falling in the same hole over and over again. The believer doesn't fall in the same hole twice. Once you quit smoking, that's the end of it. You don't go back to it. Once you quit drinking, you don't go back to it. Once you quit doing drugs, you don't go back. When you quit fornicating, you don't go back. You don't fall in the same hole twice. If you keep falling in over and over and over again, and that means you're not a true believer, because the believer puts Allah first and foremost, and there's power in that. The power to overcome. And we're going to talk about that. The power to overcome the trials come from having strong conviction and belief. So our belief in Allah increases when we comply and obey him and submit to him. And our belief in Allah will decrease when we don't comply and we don't submit to him. Listen to what Imam Bukhari's scribe said. And who was Imam Bukhari? He was the scholar that gathered up all these authentic hadiths that we use today. His scribe says a month before Imam Bukhari died, and by the way, the death of Imam Bukhari was horrific. He died alone. He was a great scholar who fought to preserve the Sunnah, but the people slandered him. They abandoned him, and they didn't even know he was dead. He was found dead days after he had died. But here his scribe says a month before we found of his death, he said, I heard Imam Bukhari say, I have written many hadiths from over 1,080 men, and all of them said that they all used to say that faith is a statement followed by action, and it increases and it decreases. So this was the view of all the companions, guys, and their predecessors. No one of them refuted this. Faith increases and decreases. Just because you say La ilaha illallah, you don't automatically become a believer. That statement just brings you into the umbrella of Islam. Now you got to work on developing your belief in what Allah commanded us to believe in. Listen to what Ibn Taymiyyah did. He brought the principle of the people of the Sunnah. In other words, he brought the principle of the companions. I told you guys, a lot of people talk about Ibn Taymiyyah. They don't know anything about him. Ibn Taymiyyah called the people away from the 4 imams. Y'all didn't know that? He spent all his life trying to call the people away from madhabs. He kept telling them, he tried to call them back to the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad. He said, instead of getting into this madhab and that madhab and what this imam said, what that imam said, he said, it's all about what did those companions say? What did Abu Bakr say? What did Ibn Masud say? What did Ibn Abbas say? Ibn Taymiyyah spent his whole life calling the people away from madhabs, but to the original companions. And he used to say that the sayings of the heart and the tongue will show through the limbs. In fact, he wrote a book on this. Ibn Taymiyyah wrote a book talking about how faith manifests itself through your actions. We just don't take people at face value. We have to look at their behavior. Look at the choices they've made in life. That will tell you if that person's truly in submittance to Allah. Is that person living a life of usury? Oh yeah. Is that person living a life of usury? If he is, that's not submittance to Allah. Okay? Listen to what Sheikh El Fawzan, this is a scholar of our time, said. He said, belief requires confirming what has preceded it with the tongue and being totally sincere in every act of worship, whether it's physical or verbal, when it comes to belief. So a lot of us say that we're Muslim, but how many of us truly are? How many of us are in true submittance to Allah? If you're picking and choosing what parts of this religion to accept, that's not total submission. That's not Islam. And as the Adaya, it's our job as callers to the truth. It's our job as callers to the truth. By the way, thank you, Goldie. I see it, Goldie. It's our job as callers to the truth to identify and understand the stages of the awakening of faith that a person will move through. We have a lot of Muslims on the internet calling themselves teaching Islam. Are they qualified? 98% of them are not, because faith grows. There are stages of development, many different stages of awakening of the heart. We talked about the fitra. The first way to awaken the heart of a person is by helping them to get to know Allah, because that's the first step that triggers belief in Allah. Remember, guys, the heart develops that belief that will lead to the affirmation when knowledge of Allah is made available to that person. So that's why it's important to get to learn the names of Allah. For the new shahadas, a lot of you asked me, what should I concentrate on learning? By the way, one of the sisters sent me an email today asking me, she said somebody gave her a book on polygamy. And so, alhamdulillah, the new shahada, she said, Layla, I accepted the book, but I didn't open it up. She said, I wanted to consult with you first. Is this something I need to focus on? I told her, no, throw that book away. That's what I would do. I'd throw it away. Who is this person? You don't need no book on polygamy. Allah told us about it. And by the way, is this something that she needs to be concentrating on? This is a new shahada who came from out of Catholicism. Why would you give a woman that's fresh out of Catholicism a book on polygamy? She ain't looking for no husband. She ain't even desiring a man right now. She just came out of a bad relationship. She wants to get to know Allah. The bad relationship she had from her ex-husband is what drove her to find Allah. And you want to greet her with a book on polygamy? Is that crazy or what, guys? And she got it from a sister at the mosque. Isn't that ridiculous? No. I told her, throw that book in the trash. And you continue to come to my classes, because what you need to focus on is getting to know your Lord. And the only way you're going to get to know him is through his names and attributes, especially coming out of Catholicism. You're going to have to reflect on Allah's creation, reflecting upon the signs of Allah. That helps us to get to know about him. And then you're going to have to learn about Allah through his revelations. You know, so throw that book on polygamy away. Why would some idiot? And by the way, if any imams out there are listening to me, which I do have a lot that do listen to me, please, y'all need to check the women in your community and check yourselves. You don't give no new shahada no book on polygamy. What message are you sending out to her? These new shahadas, especially the ones that I got here, who are fresh out of Catholicism, they ain't looking for no relationship. They're not looking for a man. They come out of bad male relationships. They looking for Allah. They trying to find their way back to Allah. You don't have the people in your community get them no garbage like that. That's a lot to say about your community. I told her to find, by the way, I told her to find another community. In fact, The state that she lives in, I gave her one of Dr. Ibrahim Durmali's people's mosques. So she'll get the right knowledge there, inshallah. All right. SubhanAllah. Like I tell the new shahadas, if you sisters are looking for a community, please just email me the state you live in. I usually can have the connection to know where is a good community. Well, the state that she was in is one of the places where Jamali was at, and I gave her a few mosques that she can go to that won't be giving her a book on polygamy. So, we have to awaken the heart. We have to help our heart to find its way back to Allah. Because remember that fitra has been extinguished because of the way that person was raised. They were not raised with their fitra enlightened. So we have to help awaken that heart. They testified to believe in Allah. Now the awakening occurs, and it's only going to occur through getting to know your Lord. You have to get a relationship with your Lord. And the way to get to know about him is through his names, through his attributes, by reviewing his creation, by reviewing his creation. All right. And that's what we're going to speak about tomorrow. What I'm going to do tomorrow, the next part of this book, I like how Sheikh Kareem did this. He breaks it down. He breaks each one of the ways to get to know your Lord down in detail. And we're going to cover them in the next 3 pages of this book tomorrow. So I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Are there any questions or comments?